We are celebrating Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month, and what better way to do that than to dive into the music world? Salsa music has stood the test of time. It has continued to evolve ever since it emerged in New York City back in the 40s and 50s, with pioneers such as Celia Cruz, Tito Puente, and others paving the way for today's artists. And a nonprofit organization called the International Salsa Museum seeks to preserve the genre's history by hosting exhibitions. It has been trying to find a permanent location where it can open its doors to those who are curious about the genre's cultural role. And joining us now to talk about all of this is Willy Rodriguez, the co-founder and executive director of the International Salsa Museum. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell us, where did the idea for a salsa museum come from?
Well, the idea basically came from a friend of mine asking me, hey, is there any place that I can take my grandmother and my mother to learn about salsa history and its culture? And we couldn't think of one. And then from there we said, you know what, I think it's important for us to start one. And that's how it came about. So me, Manny Tavares, and Eliales Reyes got together. These are my co-founders and my partners in this. And we said, you know what, it's important that we do this and preserve our culture. And that's how it came about.
That's a beautiful story. I love that. Tell us about the importance of finding a permanent home for this.
Well, it's extremely important because right now there are locations where you can learn about salsa history in New York City. There's one in Spanish Harlem that I encourage people to go to. There's one in Colombia that people can go to, but these are like smaller spaces. So we need a place, we're asking for a place that's 100,000 square feet so that we can house all this history, and not only house the history, but also have space for the kids so they can learn how to play the music, so they can learn how to record it, and really teach them the foundation of what this music really is.
What does salsa music mean to the Latino and Hispanic communities?
Oh, salsa is everything. I mean, you don't go to a party without listening to salsa music. You don't walk, New York City, just walking down the streets in New York City, you hear salsa everywhere. And not only in New York City, I myself have traveled all over the world, from Turkey to Istanbul to Norway, and salsa's played out there as well. So to really have something here in New York, in the home where salsa was born and created, in the Bronx, El Condado de la Salsa, it's a very significant meaning to all of us.
And not just to the Latino and Hispanic communities, this means a lot to the world.
Yes,
and to every community, right? Isn't it important for other ethnicities and people with different backgrounds to learn about salsa?
Well, that's the thing, that people all over the world already know about salsa. It's just a matter of educating the people of where the salsa really come from. You know, and that's our goal, to educate the entire world on our culture, in our history. Who was Tito Puente? Who was Johnny Pacheco? Who was Celia Cruz? What did they go through to make it to where they're at? Or, you know, for all the accomplishments that they did. So it's just really, really important. And we just want to stress that please know that we're looking for a home. We're aiming for the Kingsbridge Armory in the Bronx. And hopefully we'll find out pretty soon whether we get it or not.
Oh, I hope it works out. And if it doesn't work out there, I know it will work out somewhere.
Yes.
This is so important. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.